Yane atao aye. New human, new human, new human. Hello, new human. Hello, new human. Hey, isn't that lovely? Yes? Hearing that said to you and having you to say it too. Those are very lovely. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now, let's see. We're going to go right in here to some spaces together. We have a lot happening, Holy One. We have a lot happening in a lot of ways. And everyone is navigating from a little bit different vantage point than the next. And that's beautiful because we've talked about that before. The way in which you navigate at your unique and sacred way of doing so is a space of source of the divine in its own experiential pattern expanding. And that's how vast source is that all of these unique spaces are needed. That should be very helpful to humanity if we would just embrace that understanding, because the divisiveness in thought processes may be able to be given a little bit of breath when we understand that the concept of source within all experiential spaces of itself will never look like everything looks the same, everyone thinks the same, everyone acts the same. It won't look that way because source is too vast. Source is too powerful, if you will, in the understanding of the way in which it flows in such distinct ways, unique ways, rare ways, precious ways, all right? So remember that when you're allowing you, if you don't look like somebody you're close to that you admire, that you say, oh, I met this nice person and I really love the way they do this and they process that and they blah, blah, blah. It's lovely to admire, absolutely, but just don't let it overshadow or direct you in a way in which you think yours has to look like theirs. Or yours has to sound like theirs, your experience, your interpretation, whatever that is. So really let you be you, because you're the space of it that needs to be that space. All right. Okay. That was just the intro. I always love just talking to you and just really connecting with whoever's showing up and the energy that's in this space. And those who catch the video, you're getting the same connective point. I want to go now into what's going on more. Some may already be very clear on this, and some it may be like, oh, now that makes sense. Now I know why I feel that or see this or whatever. But most everybody who makes it to this space of connection with me is in the alignment of the understanding of we're all energy, everything is energy, and everybody's energy is experiencing the opportunity of expansion, shift, recalibration, meaning our lives are doing that. Our everyday lives, our relationships, our ins and outs are all experiencing this recalibration. This space of us resetting itself to this new vibrational flow that we are now, that we have become and are becoming. So everybody's doing this, but everybody's doing this again in their unique manner. So that amplifies the spaces of availability even more. So mastery is such a gift, and you all are masters. Everyone is a master that is in connection with this, these types of teachings, whether you're getting them here or somewhere else or multiple places. This is why you've been drawn to this mastery. This is why you've been intrigued by your energy, your being, your consciousness, your higher self, your higher mind, your wholeness. Because you were calling yourself into this alignment to be prepared, if you will, to be in a space of your being that would be most optimal as you navigate this recalibration of you. Okay? Now, the different layers, the different spaces, there's for me, this is how I see it. And I'm just going to give you this the way it's in my mind. It's like a level where I still have a lot of friends and family, and I lived for a very long time with a certain understanding of myself and the world around me. And then there's like another level, and this isn't said to be this one's good and this one's not good or that better or worse. It's not like that. It's just the understanding of the way energy flows differently at different spaces of its existence. There's another level happening right now where some of my family are, some of my friends are, I've lived. Spaces of me still live. And then there's this other level with spaces of me living in, and then spaces of me visiting. Like I make it into that level every now and then. I visit that level with certain parts of my being, but other parts of my being have anchored there. And these levels are a direct connection to your vantage point, your perception. So when I'm in, because we go in and out of different types of perceptions, we really do. And it's interesting because they're usually connected in with events, family members, spaces of ourselves that we anchor our energy in some way or another in connection with those spaces or people or memories. So the reason why I bring this up is because these spaces are becoming more distinctively different. And you might be saying in your being right now, I completely get it. I've been there. I am there. I understand what she's saying. And then you might be like, oh, okay, I think I understand. This is what I might be beginning to see. But the spaces between our spaces of ourselves are even getting more distinct. What does that mean? It means that when you are experiencing a space of ourselves, we are experiencing a space of ourselves that's still on what we would call 3D. So that initial space of where we came into this life and we what we understood ourselves to be, what we understood the world to be, systems, belief structures, cultures, all of that. So when we are now experiencing a space of remembrance or connection with that, yet we have spaces of ourselves living in and existing in and vibrating in a much broader mindset, open heart space of ourselves. So now when that is happening, the energy that we pick up on and we feel and we process is even sharper, for a word to use here, maybe sharper. It's sharper, but it's also quicker. It's also quicker in the means that if our mastery comes in, if our mind can bring if we can allow the connective point of our higher mind that we have definitely connected in with in one way or another in these increments of ourselves, if we can allow it down into the spaces that we have show up now and then, we will shift them even faster. So the energy is sharper, but that's not a bad thing. It just means it's registering that way because of the vantage point available to you within your own way of being now. So because of what you have learned of yourself, because of what you've learned about the world around you and all that is, you're registering older concepts of yourself, older spaces of yourself. You're registering it differently. Knowledge of that is your power, because then as the registry comes through, as the sharpness comes through, you can say, okay, it's sharp. What do I mean by sharp? Super uncomfortable, but super fast, like almost a phook in your face. And you almost don't even know where it was coming from. You take a moment and you look around and you think, wait, moments ago, things felt fine. And now this space is right here in my face. It's big, it's sharp. But you can allow yourself, I allow myself to remind myself in that moment, it's also fast. it's also fast. So just don't get in it too much. Just allow yourself to observe it even more and acknowledge that it's fast. You can acknowledge it's sharp as well. You can say, wow, this is really sharp. But at the same time, I know it's moving fast. So this is important because at this space of the game, if you will, there's no pause button. There's no pause. There's no going into deeper inner work for another year or so. Not that I laugh that's funny. Please, I hope you all know me well enough to understand that when I laugh, it's because I just really have been in these spaces and understand these types of mindsets. And I find an excitement and a joy and a peace inside of the knowing that there's no pause. Because I don't want to pause. I don't want to go back. I don't want to set in anything. I love knowing what I know. And I love being what I am. And I love allowing all of that to continue to unfold and expand. So one other part about the layers, and some people have referred to them as like splits, like separations between dimensions. That's true as well. And it makes sense. We've been learning and talking about a shift, a new earth, all these terms we've heard. And so to be really seeing it in our own individualized experiences and in the reflection around us and what others are reflecting and seeing and experiencing that we're close to, it's really exciting and it's really powerful. And that's to me where I understand there's no pause. We're too far into this shift space for there to be any type of pause, but we really don't even need one. But I do want to talk today about things that can help navigating these really big spaces and understanding as well that the people, this is important, and I don't know who really needs this one, but I navigated this for a couple years, so I don't expect anybody to just cookie cutter be done with a sentence. But anyone who is in your life that is not in an alignment with what you feel and think vibrationally, right? Okay. It can be like your mother, or it can be your significant other, or your child, or a friend, whoever, it doesn't matter. If anyone here in this class, video or live, if anyone ever like worries about those people, wants to somehow help them, doesn't want them to get, quote, left behind, if at all possible, that's a lesson that you're bringing yourself. I brought myself that lesson. I went to that class for a while, and some people never go to it. So good, that's awesome. But if for anyone who's in that class, the lesson we're bringing ourselves, if we ever feel that way about another loved one, is to remember who we are. And if we do that, we remember that they are that as well. And that they have laid out their path and it is theirs to have, and to trust more in the remembrance of who we all are and allow that love to flow, because that will benefit everyone much better than fearing who is going to be where and who isn't. Fear will slow everything down. And that's all right too, though, really, if that's the message you're working through. But you don't have to stay there very long. You can understand that everybody is going to be fine. Everybody is going to be safe. Everybody is going to be wherever they need to be according to their soul journey. All right? There's even people, I believe, and this can get a little edgy, but that's all right. There's even people, I believe, that come in playing those roles of more in our face defiance or something like that, to facilitate that space of the opposite, because that is the vibrational existence, dimensional space that were birthed into, was opposites. It was good and bad, hot and cold, night and day, whatever. those souls that came into space, to those spaces, to be those spaces, I believe, are probably really powerful in some way, in a good way, but are, okay, here's a good example. Have you seen the movie, and I might mess this up a little bit, but that's all right, just bear with me. It's either, I think it's Hobbit, where somebody shake your head if you know. Who's the one that had to take the ring and he had to wear it and he couldn't let it hurt him? Is it Hobbit? Okay, yes, Hobbit. Good. I see the head shaking. Thank you. All right, Sam, I think maybe, or Sam was the helper. Sam, I'm your Sam. Maybe that was the helper. Okay. Okay. All right, but stay with me for a minute. So in that movie, this ring had all this power, but if you weren't pure at heart, it would kind of guide you into being not a good person at an even worse level. And you'd be very like, you'd kill people and take things. And it was just, you had to be pure to be able to wear that. And this young man who decided to, the quest of taking this ring on this journey, he was the one they saw as like the most capable, right? And he even struggled, right, at times, but his friends around him supported him and would know that, oh my God, if he's struggling, right? I can't imagine if someone else would, because this guy was a really good, good soul, whatever. So for me, I kind of like to use that in my head when I think of the very highest vantage point I can hold, okay? Of even spaces where we see people that are exemplifying denser energies, to know that it's possible that they are these beings that were pure enough to, in a sense, hold that type of space to a certain degree without, I don't know how else to say that. I just know that it takes a certain type of soul to hold all the roles. Yes, it takes a certain type of soul to hold all the different roles. And when we leave physicality, when we're no longer in human form, the understanding of these other spaces is going to look very different to us. But it's all right for it to look the way it looks right now, because in the way it looks right now is where you experience the expansion of your understanding of yourself and I of me. So if anyone you are connected with in your life isn't in the same space of you, of it as you, as the way they believe about energy or consciousness or spirit or the divine or earth or God or goddess or whatever these spaces are of you, just try to allow yourself to hold that peace that it is passes all understanding, that they're safe in their own thing. They lined up their own thing. They're doing their own thing, and it's okay. It's okay. And you will bless them more by allowing that alignment to be seen for them by you, if you will, than getting into a space where we think we have to change them or save them or something like that. So these levels of existence are birthing out of our reality. We're actually birthing these increments. I believe that there are different dimensional spaces of vibration, but I believe that it's so beyond comprehension with the increments, meaning there's so many reality lines available. And as our species of humanity shifts and awakens and reminds themselves who they are, increments are creating, reality lines are creating. Like, we're not arriving somewhere that's already in existence. We're creating it and being it, and it is in existence. And at the same time, there are a bunch of spaces already there. So it's so trippy, but that's all right. Just let your head hear it. Let your mind hear it. Let the energy just be around, because it's then given the opportunity to be present. The energy, the concepts, the consciousness of you, because this is already you. And you lined this up to here right now because you were ready. All right, now. This was a good one. Ability to control our attention, and why that's important. And there's so many people on the planet right now. I mean, we've named it, right? Attention deficit disorder, right? I'm not laughing at anybody. Please just smile with me. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I have children that they got diagnosed with dyslexia, ADD, ADHD, whatever, you know? But there's something here we need to look at, and I need you to look at it with me, because then we can anchor the vibrational shift. Okay, so just hear me and allow the space. Let's anchor this together. The ability to control our attention. It's actually critical, and I hardly ever use those kind of words, right? But I heard this. It's critical because it is the way we control our creations. And so the way in which we've kind of moved into, and not all of the world is like this, but there are pockets of our society that attention, direction and focus of our attention is almost like, it's not, some people have the understanding they cannot direct their attention, they cannot keep a focus in a certain space, and there's medications and all this, and I'm not here to tell anybody to stop anything. Go to your doctor, do what you need to do. But I am here to tell you that I think there's an energetic space of this that we could benefit from seeing and allowing our focus on for a moment here together. And that is that one of the reasons why this is coming up so greatly right now is because of these separations that I just got done speaking of, that are happening because of the recalibration of our energy, of our consciousness and our forms. And so your bodies, if you happen to be a person who has this space of attention focus issue, your body is doing its best to meet your energy and to assist in some way with flagging this space, notification of this space, to allow the opportunity to shift it. And you can shift it, all right? I don't want anybody to blame themselves if they are in a space they don't like and they feel overwhelmed. And this woman, she's trying to tell me it's all in my head. I'm not. There are a lot of chemically off things in the human body. I do not like to ever be doom and gloom, but I don't think they are by chance in many cases. I think things have been done to food and water and all kinds of things. And I think it plays a role. Now, there's a space of this, though, that we need to bring in. This is what I need you to really anchor, is when you see or hear or talk about attention focused issues, either for yourself or someone else, I need you to be available to be an alignment of holding the vision of the higher mind healing the now mind, because it's available. There's enough of an opening, there's enough of a connective line from your version of your body in this human lifetime. There's enough of a connective line, whether you've made it all on your own or it's also a collective thing here, you know, where the higher mind is coming into the now form. And the higher mind does not have ADHD. The higher mind doesn't have ADD. I mean, the higher mind does not. And if you have a higher mind, and I guarantee you 100%, absolutely you do. You have access to it as well. And this is expanding. So we need to be open to this not being our continued norm. That's what I'm asking of you, to be open to hold the alignment that this higher mind experiential connective space with the now mind, and the healing of these spaces is happening. Not gonna, is. Okay, just envision it, visualize it, come from that space. All you're doing in that, all you're doing, that's a weird sentence to say, but all you're doing is you're actually facilitating a connective bridge for that energy. So I don't have these things myself, but I see this as the truth because it's very important for all of us. Okay. So if you say, okay, this isn't my topic, it's your topic. We need it to be everyone's topic. Okay. All right. Okay. So all you have to do is just envision what I've talked about. If the topics come up, I need you to see what I've said. See a higher mind, an opening, the energy flow, however you want to do it. You can't mess it up. And any single person on this planet that has any issue with focus, can even go into dementia, anything to do with the mind, the direction of the creative thought of the mind. We are healing it as a species. As we shift into a higher vibrational space of who we are, this is healing. But it will not happen if we do not set up the space, the bridge in which it can flow. So I need you to see it and allow. Yes, just allow. All right, now, happiness and peace cannot be circumstantial. Ooh, there's a sentence for us. Yes, we experience emotions, but that is the key. We experience them. We do not become them. So, we talked about this before. I think last week even, I told you about this story where the people were playing a game and they lose, but they're still happy. And the other people, they won and then they lost. And then both times they weren't happy, And so we learned that you're either happy or you're not happy. And then the spaces you experience are the spaces you experience. But the happiness or the peace is a part of who you are. They also say when people are in spaces where they get squeezed, pressured, right? Something's happening. They say that you really see what's inside, kind of like if you squeeze a fruit, the juice comes out, right? So you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice, you don't get apple juice, right? If you squeeze someone who has a decent level of an anchor of peace in their being, when they go through that space, peace is still going to be there. It's going to come out, right? In one way or another. It may not be perfect, they might be anchoring it. It may have its jolts and twitches, but it's still an underlying foundation of how they're processing. So just, kind of keep that in mind as spaces arise, that you're not looking for the circumstance to be the peace that you are able to feel, but that you're the peace who's having the circumstance. Does this make sense? Yes? All right, good. I love this one too. Are you being a blessing or are you looking for a blessing? I think we could do both, but I really like that concept because sometimes, and everything I speak from experience. So I'm not talking at anyone, I'm speaking with everyone. I can remember going through life looking for blessings everywhere. I was a nice person. I was a helpful person. I was a good mother. I was a loving wife. I was a great friend. But it was a different type of vantage point going on in my body and in my mind and in my emotions. It was this vantage point of trying to find something that was giving me something, like bless me, save me, help me. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a balance we can bring in that we can say, bless me, help me, save me. And you can also at the same time during that day, I bless you, I help you, I'll save you, like in whatever way we're able to assist. Whether that's a smile to a stranger or holding a door open for somebody or going a little slower when somebody's trying to go in front of you on the road, paying attention to that. I got really good at that because I used to be the opposite. I used to drive like really fast and I used to whip around everywhere and I had to get everywhere. Oh, I had to hurry. And if I was running late, it was so super stressed out. And if somebody cut me off, it was 5 cuss words, And so I lived in that space, right? And it wasn't fun. I didn't like it. It was tiring and draining and heavy. And I noticed that I was just kind of replicating out the same types of experiences of draining and heavy. So I started talking myself down. I started saying, all right, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be 80 one day, Andrea, and you're going to look back and go, I don't even remember that day. I don't remember trying to get to that appointment or to that class or to that space. I don't remember that particular little moment, So why are you giving it so much energy right now? Okay, so there's one. Put it in your back pocket. And after a while, I didn't have to do that to myself anymore because I had listened enough times that didn't need to be said, and I was flowing in a different type of flow. But now I've gotten to the point. Oh, this was another really good one. My husband used to roll his eyes when I would say this one, but he doesn't anymore. Because people would, pull it in front of my husband or park. He doesn't like when you park crooked in a parking lot and you take up 2 spots instead of 1. So he would always say something like, look at this, they can't even park right. Or, we all say things, right? So you understand what I'm talking about. But I would always have this little teeny, soft-spoken, they're doing the best they could do. When I first, but I did it for myself. That's what really, that's why I say give everybody a little bit of space, because somebody else could think I was judging my husband for saying that. But for me, I was trying to calm the space for myself. I was trying to calm the way I was reading what they did. And I was allowing myself to think maybe that was their best that day. Maybe that was what they had available, right? But my husband at first, he would be like, if that's their best, like he didn't, that didn't help him very much, at first. But that's nice that we can acknowledge that, right? And it didn't make me stop saying what I needed to say for myself. And I didn't make me and my husband have a fight. It was just an allowance that he had a vantage point and I had a vantage point, and it was fine. And I didn't need to try to give him a different one. I wasn't, they can see, you can see, I can see, however we want to see. So that's a good one to hold in your back pocket, that they're doing the best they can. And start to slow down a little bit, right? So be a blessing. Open the door, share a smile, give a wave. Even just your energy, right? You can be standing by somebody in a checkout line and just emanating love, just feeling love, and just letting that be in your field, that's a focus point. Because, we don't even realize it, but we're always emanating energy. And sometimes things get so busy that we're emanating stress or we're emanating hurry, worry, judgment, shame, whatever these things are that get stuck in our thought processes, right? That's why we can go back up to the part about where it's so critical that we learn how to control our attention, because whatever our attention is on amplifies and expands. Don't get in your head about it, though. And if you have a big space, a sharp space, like we began this with, right? If you have a sharp space, remember it's going to go. Remember it's going to flow. Because sharp spaces, they are the ones that really like to get you waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. They really like to get you replaying the conversation or replaying the experience that felt sharp, right? And there's nothing wrong with allowing your attention to recalibrate the energy. But just know you have the ability to recalibrate it. You have the ability to shift it. You have the ability to be more aware with it. And thinking about that flow of that energy and all the ways it flows through us, whether it's just our attention and we're understanding all the spaces of ourselves and how our higher mind is available to us in all the spaces of ourselves, and then giving that higher mind the opportunity to speak to us. That's important, all right? We understand that the availability is available, right? We understand that we have a higher mind. We are the higher mind. We're just opening the passageways to where the function can flow to this space of us, all right? And then allowing it. So that means when the shop comes, when the energy charge is present, when the remembrance, the memory of the space comes in, that you allow the higher mind energy. It's not easy because we're not used to doing it. We're not used to doing it, but it becomes easy once we keep doing it. And I am like implementing. I am implementing. And I'm not perfect at it, but I am proof. I can tell you that it really does work, and it moves every space of your life so much faster or more efficiently is really not the best words, but it moves every space to allow yourself that opportunity. So what do I mean though, kind of concise? If you play it the way you've always played it, it's going to go the way it's always gone. So if you're playing it and you're having these, oh, wait a minute, I think this is sharp. Oh, wait a minute, I think I'm not being a blessing. Oh, wait, I think I'm blah, 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 blah. And it's called not judgment, it's called information. Free yourself from that thought of, oh, I'm going to judge myself now. No, no, no. You're going to be smart. You're going to be wise. You're going to be consciously wise. And then you have the opportunity in that moment to implement, or go right into the old way, or implement higher mind availabilities. Is I have my higher mind availability. I have it available to myself. So being it creates it. Being it creates it. You want a bunch of blessings in your life? Be a bunch of blessings in other people's lives. You want a bunch of love in your life? Be love. Being it creates it. You want to be anxious, panicky, and full of fear? Be anxious, panicky, and full of fear. You'll have a lot of experiences that'll say, do, 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 do. Lock in, energy alignment. I don't say this to judge anybody, really, and I think you all know that. Okay, so not every experience is going to be great, but every experience can be engaged with a great attitude, a great understanding of the higher mind availability. And then you see through those eyes. That's the vantage point shift. That's the leaving the parking lot. We talked about that before. Stand in the parking lot, look around, all you see is cars. Go in the building, go up to a different vantage point, 7th floor, look out the window. Oh, wow, look at that. Can see the entire parking lot and then some. You look through fear, you're going to see more things to fear. You look through peace, you're going to see more things of peace. But there's another level to this, and I need you to see this with me again. Please give me your focus for this space. We have a lot of things happening on the planet. If you watch the news, you're going to see a lot of destruction and a lot of death and a lot of sorrow. And I'm not saying that's not happening. It is happening. But I'm saying be mindful of your thoughts, for your thoughts produce your life. Be mindful of your power. Where are you placing it, and what are you amplifying? Are we placing our thoughts upon the death, discretion, and sorrow? And are we feeding that with more fear from our own beings and pain and suffering of our own thoughts and processes towards what we're seeing? Or, and I just started doing this, so please, I'm like brand new to this game, but it's working. I know it is. Are we allowing that higher mind connectivity to flow, even in the way we're being present for these other levels? You're going to see so much. That's why we need to get this now, because what we see right now is just the beginning. This is how it splits or separates, but those aren't the right words, but just allow them right now. So when you see all of that, you can allow your reverent respect and sacred love for the animals, the people, the places, all of it. Absolutely. But then I don't want you to just drop it there. I want you to step into your divine power, and I want you to see miracles. I want you to see the light beings that showed up that nobody told you about on the news, that saved people, or the beings that helped the animal, or the earth, or whatever it is. Yes. We are bridging the gap. We, you and I, are bridging a gap for humanity, for a species, of the availability of supernatural, miraculous power. And if we don't look at it and amplify it and allow it to be within the understanding of our own reality and our body and our form and our mind and our hearts, it has no root in this now. I need you. I need me. We need us to walk in the knowing of who we are, even when we see the reflections coming back saying you're destructive, you're burning, you're drowning, you're sorrow, you know, all this pain, all this suffering. We have to redirect more than ever. You've been learning how to do it in your little family, not little, I don't mean that to belittle anything, please. But I'm trying to show you the scale of your power. You've been learning how to do it in your family events and in your co-worker spaces and in your minds and your own thought processes. You've been learning how to redirect and how to own your energy and how to remember who you are and how to lean into those spaces of your sovereign power. And you've seen miracles in your own lives and relationships and jobs and spaces. And the ones that you don't see what you think you want to see, and you've become okay with the understanding that they get to be who they are and it's not yours to carry. And now I need you and us, to take that and expand it out further to the collective, to the planet, and to these really big spaces of interconnectivity between these levels of increments of energy that we are. I have a lot of people write me and they'll say, did you see the news? What should we do? Did you see this? What should we do? What can we do? And this is what we would be most, it would be most beneficial for us to do. This is what would be most optimal for us to do, is to use the power of our consciousness within these spaces and direct that flow of miracle, of healing, and even anchoring that knowing of faith in why it's happening, in a sense that we don't judge even that it's happening, because the minute there's a judgment, that lowers the vibration of the space in which we're working. So if we're judging, oh, this is so terrible, then when we go to bring in the miracles of love and healing and support, we're coming in at the parking lot and we're hitting car after car after car. But if we're not judging it and we're saying, this is a space, okay, I'm present to see this space, I hold divine love for this space, and that means we're now up in the building. And we look out of the window and now we're not hitting car. We're able to move energy and we're able to bring in higher energy and we're able to facilitate these spaces for ourselves and our humanity, our planet. We are like walking energy sessions. You know, if you're an energy healer, many of you are, or if you've ever had an energy session, people learn how to facilitate energy to assist other people, right? Other energy bodies. And you are a walking energy session, in a sense, for everything you come in contact with, whether you think about it, whether you see it, whether you touch it, whether you walk through it physically or mentally. You are an energy session, and you will send that energy to whatever it is you're connecting with, period. So you might as well begin to allow yourself to know and own the power of your sacred love energy, your divine energy, and that you can choose to send that instead of fear, that instead of judgment, that instead of sorrow. Trust, trust, trust. There has to be trust in order to have that flow. But you have it, you have it, it's in you. And that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're here. All right, real quick, and then I'll close because I like these little fun spaces too. Not that that's not fun, but that was a lot of heavy consciousness. Yes, big spaces, not heavy as in dark, heavy as in big. All right, so I keep 3 crystals by my bed all the time. I love crystals. I wear crystals. If you don't have crystals in physical form, you can work with any crystal energy in its vibration. You can put them on you in your imagination before you even get out of bed. If you don't have it in the physical to put it on like a ring or a necklace or in your pocket, just picture yourself wearing a beautiful ring or a necklace or a crown, whatever you want. In my shamanic class, we did a breastplate of peace and we adorned it with crystals. And it's all in our quantum understanding. And yet it is then vibrationally with us energetically. But these are some I have by my bed. This is a piece of tourmaline and I've had it for quite some time. I love black tourmaline. I think it's a wonderful cleaner cleanser of energy. And I just love to have it by my bed. This other one I've had for quite some time as well. This is a labradorite. But what I really love about this one is it always reminded me of a wing. So for me, it looks like an angel wing, kind of, you know? So this, I've had this labradorite by my bed, and I've had the tourmaline by my bed, and I have some other pieces as well by my bed. But I always keep those specific ones because I really love them, and I was intuitively drawn to them. So I want you to listen to you. I want you to listen to your heart, your mind, your being. And it can just pop in rose quartz, clear quartz, you know, whatever it is, apophyllite. If you're not super familiar with crystals, you could just research some on the internet or ask before you fall asleep for your higher mind to bring you an understanding of crystal energy that would be most optimal for you to work with right now. You could do a meditation. Actually, on Patreon, we have a beautiful crystal meditation. How interesting. I didn't make the connection to right now, but the audio for the month of August is about connecting with crystals. I just caught that one. Okay, that's beautiful. See what happens when we let the higher mind do things? It takes care of all of this, and then we just show up and notice how lovely it all is. But you can ask for guidance on what crystals would be great to work with, and they can change, or they can be ones you stay with forever and ever, you know? But if you don't have them in the physical, that's what's so beautiful about understanding ourselves as quantum energy, as consciousness, as eternal source. You can connect with the energy vibration of anything, and you can allow that flow within your being and within your world. So when you go to bed at night, if you want to put black tourmaline by your bed, you could simply think, imagine, I have black tourmaline by my bed. If you want to put a labradorite by your bed, you can simply think, I have labradorite by my bed, and the vibration of labradorite and tourmaline will be right where you say they are. So, and of course, pick anything you like. I just used those because I had them on hand right here. But allow yourself to work with crystals. Crystals come from our planet. They are naturally created by our Earth. We are, right? We are from our planet, and everything on our planet interacts and works together, if you will, to breathe, to eat, to drink, to live, to be, to vibrate energetically. Everything is interconnected. And these crystals, I believe, are a really big part of the way in which we navigate these increments of us, these shifts of us. I think there's lots more even in the audio. I think I talk about communications and being able to hear and understand things from the higher mind and from other spaces of yourself that are what you would call higher dimensional or interdimensional, multidimensional spaces of you that are waiting to communicate with you, and will be able to do so because there's a crystal amplifying the energy. It's like a clarifier, an amplifier, an antenna all in one. And you even have crystal in your body. The pineal gland has these little microcrystals. You can research that. I'm speaking scientific medical truth. You can look it up. So consider working with crystals some more. Trust yourself and allow the space. And so yeah, that was a big, that was a pretty big class. Let me look at this chat real quick. Okay. Can the recalibration include physical pains in the body? Absolutely. Many times when the body is recalibrating itself, it will need to clear older stored emotion, energy. Emotion is energy in motion. So when we get emotional, right, it's the energy that we're feeling moving. But sometimes the energy, we don't allow it to move for whatever reason, and it gets stored. And so when we recalibrate, the stored energy gets dislodged because of that recalibration. And that stored energy then begins to surface and come out, and it can feel uncomfortable. Always take care of yourself in whatever way you feel led to. It can be all kinds of things. And there's a book, I've mentioned it before, it's called You Can Heal Your Life. Oh, there's a turkey outside my window walking by. Oh, hello there. I have to look up turkey. Oh, it's a whole family. Oh. Let's see if I can record them and I'll show you guys on IG. Let's see. Just recording turkey, 1 minute. Let's see. Oh, there they are. Got a little blurry. Oh. I'm going to put you guys on here for a minute. So this is what happens in our Being the New Human class. The turkeys come across the yard. We'll have to look up turkey. All right. Thank you for letting me have that moment. I will share that video on my IG. So allow yourself to trust yourself. I'm not really positive. The clearing coming out. Yes, the clearing coming out. Trust your body knows exactly what to do. The You Can Heal Your Life book is by Louise Hay. It's a very good book. I've never read it cover to cover. I always have to say that because I can't say I've read it. So, but the center has this section you can look up ailments, and you could search them on the internet as well. But it's a nice go-to reference. And there's a lot of really beautiful positive affirmations in the book on releasing lack, moving into abundance in all aspects and areas of one's life. I used it a lot when I was opening up to healing my body and my being. I read that book a lot, but the body is going to recalibrate and the energy is going to move, and it can feel uncomfortable. You can become sick. It's possible. I mean, as in, like, sometimes people will experience a cold, like a drainage, because they're draining out this stuff. I've had a weird thing with my shoulder, right shoulder, just this week, but I know what's going on, and I've been saying and working with that space as well. It started on the 8/8 portal that morning, so that I was like, okay, here we go. I understood that the energies were moving. And another thing to watch out for and be mindful in the sense of educated, be educated. Education is power. Is if your body is recalibrating, most likely your relationships will as well. So it can be a small recalibration, meaning you can have a small altercation or argument or something, disagreement with someone you love, a friend, a family member. But we're so trained to immediately go to, how could they say that to me? Why would they do that to me? Or whatever we do, right? If we can allow the higher mind an opportunity by giving it a space and saying for one moment, we can say that other, but if we can just give it a space of balance where we also say, wait a minute, maybe they're recalibrating. Maybe I'm the two of us, the three of us, whatever. Maybe we're restructuring our energy alignment because we're all shifting. And so these densities that are coming out in our body, like she asked about the pain in the body, they can also be coming out of the relationships. And so that can feel uncomfortable as well. But if we know this, we don't have to judge it and get stuck in it as much because we're unaware of, we don't have the map on how to get out. But we have the map on how to get out. And we have the knowledge of, oh, okay, this is what this is. Well, let me go ahead and put this sucker in 4-wheel drive, open up this alignment to my higher mind, and we're going to drive right out of this thing and recalibrate ourselves in the most optimal manner. And that means we come from love and neutrality. We set boundaries. We say what we need to say when we need to say it, but we also make sure it's balanced and it's not coming from victim, you did me wrong, you didn't trust me, you said it. But we can set boundaries and we can say what we need to say. So don't lose that in there, right? It's this beautiful dance of balance we're seeking for ourselves. And then we had some people writing in with assistance on Frodo and Sam Wise. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. You guys know the scene. You know the scene I'm talking about. I actually just saw that the other day. My daughter loves it. She loves that movie. She has it on all the time. She painted a picture of it in her room, a real big painting. And it was that scene, though. I guess it's the one where the one guy's like, I'm your Sam, don't you remember me, or whatever, because there's that really bad moment where the guy's about to lose it. I always mix up who was Frodo and who was Sam. So was Frodo the guy that had to wear the ring? Yes. Okay. Yes. Because the other guy was I'm your Sam. Sam was Rudy, and he was also in Stranger Things, right? Yeah, that actor. Yeah, I like him. He's really good. All right. Okay. So let's see. Lucretia is besties with Sam. Okay, love it. Oh no, Sam was the bestie. Or both. Or both. Lucretia could be besties with Sam. She could have a Sam in her life, right? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Sandra. All right, you guys, I have loved this space together. Thank you. I feel like we all need to take our bodies out into the sun or by a window or go in meditation and see the sun above us and just like almost imagine opening up our crown and just letting the sun fill our brain, our mind, our neural pathways with its light and its codes, because I feel like we just did so much expansion with these concepts and these understandings. So just really letting yourself ground it in, imagine it, ponder it, contemplate it, write about it, draw about it, sing about it, however your body is bringing it into more and more of being present in your version. Allow and trust yourself. Trust yourself. All right? All right. I love you all so very much. Thank you, Rebecca. It's so good to have you here as well. Thank you. I love you so much. Holy ones, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to give a big hug. Let's also imagine for a moment a circle of us and we're holding hands. And then you just kind of look to the person at your left and you say, I love you, Holy One. And then you look to the next person, I love you, Holy One. And the love goes all around the circle. I love you, Holy One. 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 And the divine is one. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Have an incredible, beautiful now. Hello, Angela. Thank you for being here from Switzerland. We love you too. Hello. Mwah. So grateful for all of you. Write some feedback if you have any. Get into the chat on Discord, our ACASMA Connections chat, and share. Share in our pods. If you're not in a pod, join a pod. Thank you for being a patron. I love you. I love you. I love you.